Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Akabane101, and this is Monster Hunter World Beta. This is the third episode in our series where we take a look at the territories that various monsters reside in. And in this one, you're going to be taking a look at the Rock Eater Barroth. This guy uses mud to defend itself against attackers and generally roams the northern and southernmost regions of the Wildspire Waste. Alongside him, though, are two very menacing monsters, the Diablos and, excuse my mispronunciation, the Geratidos, if I am pronouncing that correctly. One is a water-based monster, and one is a earth-based monster. Both very deadly in their own right, and the Barroth appears to be at the lowest of the food chain, and we'll see that, hopefully, as we go along here. So let's go ahead and jump into single player. We are not going to edit our hunter. And let's go to the Wildspire Rampage and take a quick look at the map. You may notice already that this map is significantly smaller than the Ancient Forest. If we scroll over to the Ancient Forest, a much larger, more detailed map with a lot more to explore. It's absolutely massive, where the Wildspire Waste, a bit smaller of an area and a bit easier to navigate. However, you may find yourself being a little slow if you don't have the proper mantle to go through water, as in areas 4, 9, and 10, as well as possibly 2 and 3, have a lot of water, and you're going to be very slow trying to trudge through that stuff if you have to chase a Barroth, Geratidos, or anything else that may be in that vicinity. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Now, the areas that the Barroth does explore is usually he'll end up in Area 8, generally at the beginning of this quest in particular, because that's where he frequents eating. There's lots of rocks for him to go consume, and he'll all the time go there. Then when he needs a new coat of paint, or mud as it were, he'll go to Area 7, roll around in some of that mud, and even travel southward around areas 9, 4, or maybe even 10. You may see him roaming between 8 and 6, or 6 and 5, or 6 and 7, and going around those areas, mostly the eastern side of the map. And if you trigger Diablos, you can even get him to go underground and get Diablos to kick some butt. And a lot of the time, the Barroth will even travel all the way south and get attacked by the Geratidos. As I said, this is the lowest member of the food chain in this area, as it would appear. Anyway, let's go ahead and read the flavor text before we continue on. So this is from the client, the commission member. We've just received a report of a Barroth appearance in the Wildspire Waste. Look for the mud tracks it might have left in its wake. We trust that you can track it down and take it out. Alright, let's go ahead and jump on in here. We're going to start in the Southwest Camp number 1, as I prefer to start in a specific area so all of you can see how you would generally go about traversing the area. This also puts us as far away as possible from the monster, so we have to focus on tracking it. So let's go ahead and jump into the southwestern camp, and let's change our equipment here. I'm using my try-hard gear, which is speed eating and attack boost to give me a little bit of affinity. Not necessary for Barroth, as these weapons are designed for Anjanath, and really nothing tougher or weaker. That's not to say that you can't fight tougher or weaker monsters with these weapons, it's just that this gear set is very, very nice for pretty much everything at the moment. Let's go ahead and use a weapon we haven't used yet, the Steel Assault, which uses the Wyvern Heart or machine gun ability. This is a heavy damage weapon, and it's a lot of fun to use. We're also going to be using the Waterproof Mantle instead of the Ghillie Mantle, which is going to be very useful here in the desert, as there is actually a lot of water in the oasis areas. And then the Rocksteady Mantle in case we run into, well, maybe Diablos or something like that may want to yell at us a lot. And Diablos is a very, very angry man. Alright, let's go ahead and depart and jump on into it. So the Wildspire Waste, as I've mentioned before, is a very easy place to master. There's not a whole lot to it. The elevation is very easy to see, and it's not a large area. So we're going to have a very easy time here, kind of exploring the realm. But if you've never seen it before, you might be a little bit confused. So let's go ahead and eat our food, as always. We're using the hunter named Gaz today. I've named him that. And if you're a gunner, I would highly recommend going into here, especially if you're a heavy gunner. You should go into here and go into the item box, as there's some really nice stuff we can get. We're also going to drop off all the garbage items that they give us, and I'm going to let go of the life powder as I don't need it. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of these supply items, the poison knife and the paralysis knife, although we can just drop them if we so choose. So, as you can see here, we don't need power coating and we don't need paralysis coating, but we have all these other lovely items here, so we're going to go ahead and quickly grab ourselves Spread Shot level 3, which is like a shotgun. We're going to go and grab... what else do we have here, actually? Let's go grab Piercing Shot level 3. And lastly, let's go grab Sticky Ammo, and we'll replace our Spread Ammo level 1. Awesome. Now we just go over to our inventory, and we hit R3. And we are sorting our items. Beautiful. And I don't know if attack up even helps guns. Of course, anyone that is familiar with ranged weapons in the game, do feel free to let me know. I'm pretty sure there's a different stat for increasing weapon damage. But Monster Hunter World does treat things slightly differently with its stats, so I'm not entirely sure. Let's go ahead and grab our flash pods and sort our items out. Now, because we're in the Wildspire Waste, and this quest specifically that we're taking may have us running into monsters that are underground, well, we get the Easy Screamer Pod, which is another slinger item, which is the same as Screamer Bombs in previous Monster Hunter games. If there's a monster underground and you throw this, it'll cause it to jump up out of the ground and get stuck for a little bit because it's trying to protect its ears, and that will allow you to pretty much wail on it as much as you want, which is always fabulous. One thing we should do before we continue on is reload all of our weapons if possible in succession. So we just hold down the triangle button here and we'll load all of these bullets into our weapon at once. One of the weird things about the heavy bowgun in this game is that it literally has every type of ammunition, put into the weapon all at once. It's a really cool weapon. And hopefully I'll be able to show it off quite well. Might not be able to kill the Diablos in time because we're going to be taking our time with the first quest here, as always. We're going to be walking through everything reasonably slowly as we explore the zone. And I would like to show you guys trank bombs as well, which would be very nice. So these are our Kelby here. If you defeat these guys, you'll be able to work on getting yourself some hunter gear, which is probably the gear that I'm wearing right now, the chest piece. Kelby hide is always extremely important, as well as Bullfango gear, if the Bullfango are still in the game. Let's go ahead and equip our capture net so we can see just exactly what's over here. And we got some more carrier ants. So these things have carried over from the ancient forest, excuse the pun. And we'll head up here just to show off a few of the other items we can get, such as these little squirrel bunny things, the shepherd hares. I think some of them are rarer than others because I've seen different colors, so you'll definitely have to keep an eye out for those. We got our standard herbs. And we even have a fence, which kind of blocks us off from going back to what I believe is the ancient forest, or maybe another part of the Wildspire Waste. I'm not entirely sure. I know I've seen videos on a few other maps, one that even features Rathian in what looks like the bottom half of the ancient forest, although Rathian doesn't appear to be in the current beta. More carrier ants there, excellent. One nice thing is that there are fire herbs here. And if you are a bowmaster, or possibly want to make some bullets, you can use these to go ahead and try and make some more power shots and things like that. Although the game does offer you an extra 50 power shots in your equipment box, if you need some. Alright, so we're going to be heading down to Area 4 here. And this is the area where the Geratidos hangs out a lot. Geratidos will also be hanging out over in area number 10. And we might be seeing the Barroth appear soon, because usually the Barroth is around here by this time, around this area 7. So maybe we'll be able to get eyes on very soon here. A lot of the time, the Barroth will stumble its way into the Geratidos and just get randomly attacked, which can work out for us quite well, which is always very entertaining. This is quite a lovely area. Hopefully YouTube's compression rating will allow us to see it in full detail, but you know how that is. Typically makes things quite blurry, unfortunately. So these guys here that we're picking up are sleep herbs, and we need 1 sleep herb and 1 parashroom to make ourselves a trank bomb. And trank bombs are exactly what you think they are. They are bombs that you throw on the ground, and they shoot up smoke, which can knock out an enemy. And if you use 2 of them, you can knock out an enemy flat out if you are using a trap alongside it. So here's our parashrooms, and let's go ahead into our crafting list and go to page number 5. If we head on down here, we can go ahead and hit X and confirm. And now we have 4 of those. And hey, look, it's our friend Barroth, right on time. Excellent. So he's just arrived from Area 8. He does take his time here, of course. Let me back out of these menus here. But one thing I would like to point out is that there's these cats here. And if you mount a monster, and the game's about to tell me this, if you mount a monster, he'll automatically go towards this cat. And then the cats will immediately capture it and allow you to do massive damage. It's even stronger than if you were to use a trap. Ah, there we go. As you can see over there, looks like the Barroth is just applying a new coat of paint. A little bit of mud there. We got some sharks in the water here. They don't really do a whole lot of damage, but they can be a little bit of a pain. They'll trigger combat on you all the time. Now, right now, we don't really need our water running coat just yet. But this is really nice. So the Barroth is doing something really awesome for us right now. And it's that it's going back home. So this is where it sleeps, in case you were wondering. And we might be able to set up some traps here. So let's just go ahead and do just that. This is pretty much everything that the Barroth does. The only thing it didn't do was go into Area 6. Hey, look at you. Maybe if he doesn't get angry at me, we'll keep following him around. Again, this first quest here typically is just us exploring and learning what the Barroth is all about. One thing I should point out, there are various carcasses in the Ancient Forest and Wildspire Waste that we can loot, and these can carry anything from monster bones to other items, maybe even account items for extra money and loot, which is always fantastic. Look how fast that Barroth is, by the way. Super, super fast. Probably a good idea to pick up some of his footprints so we'll know exactly where he's planning on going. I believe he's actually heading up through Area 5 up into the Area 6, so we can see exactly what he does there. And I looked through my options, by the way, and I noticed that you cannot turn off the fireflies. One thing I would love as a feature in this game is the ability to turn off scout flies and kind of track the monster on your own. It would be cool if you could still spot the footprints and all that stuff, but that would really be about all I truly want in the game. Maybe if we get into high rank, they disable the scout flies. That would actually be very, very nice of a feature in the game. Hey, there we go. So now we know exactly where he's going. So let's see. Oh, he's already stopped. I think he's applying one of his markings on the wall. But I would like to show you guys what loot you can get from the Wildspire Waste. If we're lucky, there we go. We get earth crystals. You can only get these here and not in the Ancient Forest, where the Ancient Forest has macrolite ore, and we don't get that here. So these are one of the markings that the Barroth likes to leave behind. It's a mud track, kind of similar to the snot tracks that the Anjanath likes to leave behind. Always important to keep an eye out for those. They're a little bit harder to spot, I find, than the mucus, but also they are a little bit larger, so I don't know, depends on what you're looking for, right? Here's a little bit of the verticality of the zone as well. And there's one monster that does reside in that particular cave there. You can see a little bit of honey in there too. However, it's not here in the beta. It's a smaller monster, kind of similar to a oh man, a Makeo, a great Makeo, I'd like to say. It looks very similar to that. So as you can see, the Barroth has taken that trail to our right all the way up towards where his food is, which is in Area 8, and maybe we can witness him consuming food. Oddly enough, our scout flies have decided to pull our camera to the right. Again, that's another feature I wish I could just remove, is all the scout fly stuff that pulls the cameras away. Alright, here we are. So let's see if the Barroth will go ahead and eat some of these rocks here. I think he likes to go for the one on the far side from where we are now. But generally, he'll go around and try and consume that. Below here is a sand pit. This is where Diablos resides and hangs out below. And these birds up in the air, if you hit one of them, they will freak out. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I meant to actually unequip my my bug net. Seems like he's just kind of roaming around. So I think about now is a perfect opportunity for us to engage this guy. Let's wait for him to go down to the cat, because then we're going to see the full cycle of his footpath. Very, very simple track that he goes along. They didn't really put too much into him in terms of where he's going. But he's going to head down here, he's going to jump across, and move on to a new area. Alley-oop. He might get alerted to our presence here, that's fine. And there you go, that's his full route. That's how Barroth travels the world. Sometimes he'll go in other locations, but for the most part, this is what he does. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be using our water ammo. And you can also pick up specific slingshots in the area down below us. The area he was about to head over to. And those will allow you to also get rid of this water. So if you're using a sword, definitely recommend picking up those slings. Alright, looks like that's all good. Let's go switch over to our Wyvern shot. For some massive damage. This might actually end up scaring him away. He's like, holy shit, that was a lot of damage, dude. And he even shit himself. Alright, nice. So we're going to take that, and we can use it to our advantage, hopefully. Oh, he's already back for more. Let's do this. Oh, someone's a little angry. You'll see this little creature down here. He also has dung bombs for you. He's a dung beetle who literally rolls dung around. It's great. It's great stuff. This Wyvern shot is absolutely amazing. Look at him go. Look at him just roll away. I'm more curious about that thing. Oh, he's putting muck on us. Must have had some left over. When he does that move, by the way, he's actually shaking off some of the mud on him, which is pretty cool. Alright, let's show off the spread shot level 3. By the way, all of the ammo that we've loaded into our gun is still loaded, so we can just keep switching ammo types over and over again until we run out of all of them. Let's get a little closer. Woo! Get some piercing shot in here. Piercing shot's great if you're on the long side of the monster. Pretty long shot as well. See, when we're on the side here, you can only get about 3 hits, but when it's the full body, you can get a lot. Oh boy. Bit of a bad roll there. My fault. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to defeat him here. I would like to knock him over if possible. Switch over to our sticky ammo. Great ammo for destroying his crown. I generally find the bowgun to be quite amazing against this guy because it has everything you need to just fight him off. You don't have to worry about bouncing off of his crown or anything like that. Although most weapons work quite well against him. The only thing you bounce off with this guy is his crown. Whereas Diablos, on the other hand, well, you're going to have to deal with the fact that you bounce on the back of its tail and the front of its 2 horns. So have fun with that. Unless you're a Lancer, you're going to have a rough time. Alright, let's see if we can hit one of these guys here and trigger a little bit of fun. Get Barroth over here. There we go. A little bit of an interaction between Diablos and our guy. Very nice. Let's roll around for a second so I can get my autocannon. Aw, man. I'll admit, I'm not playing extremely well. I'm just kind of being overly aggressive here. And if Diablos comes at us, we could die very easily. Alright, there you go. That's our autocannon done. Here comes the Diablos versus Barroth fight. And easily enough, the Diablos wins. Lots of extra damage, though, for us. As far as I understand it, the range doesn't really matter for this particular shot, the sticky ammo. Already fell over again, wow. Gotta be really careful here, but I want that Slinger Thorn.
This should work as slinger ammo. They're good for stunning monsters.
Sure are. Here's another feature here. If you're out of flash bombs, you can just kick one of these flash flies. Stun the enemy that you need. Love that auto fire. It's so fun. Reload our sticky ammo a little bit. Diablo's going to go for a attack here. Usually only wants to do that against me, which is never fun. Quite rude indeed. I'm going to use my armor here. Oh! Looks like Barroth is running. So let's go ahead and use our trap. She scrolled past, of course. Oh! Barroth is standing his ground. Shockingly enough. I'm very surprised by this. Alright, Mr. Barroth. I would like to capture you. Oh shit! I might actually die by the Diablos. No! The Diablos, why? Oh well, luckily we spawned right here. There is a chance that we can capture the Barroth. But unfortunately, with the Diablos being right here, it does make things considerably more challenging, which is always a pain. You'll notice that there's a base camp right next to Diablos' spawn area. And now we gotta really go for it. But we might not be able to capture him in time. Unfortunately. As the Barroth is indeed fleeing from us, and we don't have a lance, which means we're just kind of really pushing for time here. All we have to do is just get up here. He's going to eat some rocks, which is perfectly understandable. He's weak, he's tired, he needs some help. Alright, here we go. Plant the trap. And there we go! Oh man, last minute. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you capture a Barroth. And also explore his entire territory and see where he goes. So to recap real quick. He starts in Area 8, moves down to 7, goes around Area 4 and 9, sometimes goes up through 5 and 6, or vice versa. And that's pretty much his whole path. And that's how you get trank bombs in the Wildspire Waste and all that. So I hope you enjoyed. The heavy bow gun is a fantastic weapon. I hope you guys get a chance to try it out. Look at that, 19 minutes at 6 seconds. I'm really surprised we were able to do that in time. Of course, I don't think we would have been able to defeat him if we went for the kill. But regardless, I think that's as much as I can really show for the Barroth and the territories he resides in. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys some other monsters, such as the Geratidos and the Diablos territories, although those ones are very limited in where they would go, but I'll try and see what I can learn about those too. And of course, possibly the dreaded Rathalos. That is a monster I would very much like to learn more about. Okay guys, I'm Akabane101, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.